Okay, so first I want to thank everyone for being here. The reason we are here is the family did want to address you all after this entire ordeal, and it's still going on. I think the last time they addressed you was about 8 months ago. So they've been through this, and they just wanted to share their experiences. I did want to kind of bring you all up to speed, and I'll do it pretty quickly because I sent to set the tone of kind of where we are right now. I submitted a motion to dismiss. There will be a hearing on that motion on June 14th, along with the hearing on the mental health status. But just in summary, the reason for the motion to dismiss were the missteps of the Commonwealth Attorney. What I indicated in that motion is how it started, and I'll just briefly go through that. On February 1st, on February 1st, 2022, Cory Bigsby requested legal counsel. While he was being questioned, he was denied legal counsel. On February 4th, Chief Talbot indicated during a press conference, and this is a quote, "Mr. Bigsby is a 43-year-old man who's had a full career in the Army. He retired from a position of authority. He seems to be quite intelligent. He seems to be quite capable, and part of his capability seems to be understanding his rights. At no time did he request to see an attorney. Had he made such a request, we would have honored it." Then, on February 14th, Chief Talbot indicates that he found out that the lead detective continued to question Mr. Bigsby even after he had asked for an attorney. So those were the missteps of the Commonwealth by way of the Chief of Police. The missteps of the Commonwealth by way of the Commonwealth Attorney started on August 3rd. On August 3rd, Mr. Bigsby presented a statement. The Commonwealth basically obtained a statement from Mr. Bigsby on August 3rd while he was in custody. There are so many things wrong with that issue. However, the missteps are that on August 3rd, they obtained the statement. They did not provide that statement to the defense team when they obtained it. On August 22nd, the Commonwealth Attorney asked that Judge Hawks recuse himself because Anton Belt indicated that he was concerned about Mr. Bigsby's speedy trial statute running out. He indicated in that motion to recuse that the judge didn't have enough dates to set this for trial. Keeping in mind that on August 22nd, he still had that August 3rd letter that we had not gotten. On October 13th, there was a motion to suppress hearing. We still had not gotten the August 3rd letter. And about a week before the jury trial, which we had scheduled for November 7th, we get the letter. Obviously, I think anyone in the legal profession will understand that that letter constituted an obligation that we had to request competency. I'm sure that Attorney Bell knew that once we got that letter, we were going to ask for competency evaluations.
I hate to interrupt you, I'm sorry. You said you're not going to tell us what the letter said.
Right now I'm not,
okay.
Only because I'm trying to get the contents of the letter under seal. I don't know if I'll be able to do that. I know that court records are public, but it was enough, for one, for us to immediately change our course of action and ask for a competency evaluation, and apparently for the Commonwealth to hold on to. So the motion to dismiss is based on the fact that if we had gotten that letter August 3rd, we would not be here in March doing what we're doing. We would have done it well before the trial, which is why I have concerns. There's discovery rules that they are supposed to turn information over as soon as practicable. That did not happen. In fact, it was held onto until a week before the trial. So that's very concerning, and that's what the 2-hour motion is going to be. The reason I filed it at this time is because we got the evaluation from Dr. Zwiemer, who indicated that Cory was not competent. And with that evaluation, there's 2 options that the Commonwealth has. They can either drop the charges because he's not competent to stand trial, or they can ask for restoration services. So Or what Anton Bell did today, he did not ask for restoration services. He wanted to have a hearing on whether or not he was competent without sending him to the hospital, which, again, is concerning after a doctor indicated that he needs to go to the hospital.
Can you explain a little what restoration services are?
So when someone is, I'll explain it like this. The best way to explain it is, say you have a 5-year-old defendant. That usually doesn't happen because they're not competent, but let's say for some reason the Commonwealth wanted to try a 5-year-old. The 5-year-old would have to learn, what the courtroom is, what a judge does, what the defense counsel does, and that can be taught. Normally what happens with restoration services is if someone doesn't understand those basic principles, someone comes to them from usually the community services board in the county and talks to them about what this means. It's like a kind of an education type of situation. That's the normal restoration of competency. However, in this case, Dr. Zwemer had some mental health concerns, which is why he recommended that he go to the hospital. That were more psychiatric concerns.
Okay.
I mean, his mental stability, did it come from being like wrongfully incarcerated, or was due to his child being missing?
So I'm glad you asked that, and let me just say that as defense counsel, we evaluate our clients when we talk to them, right? We know whether to ask for competency, whether to not ask for competency. So what I've experienced is a decline in his mental health. I did not feel that it met the criteria for incompetence until we received that August 3rd letter. But that decline, in my opinion, is due to his incarceration, the conditions at the jail, the fact that his son is missing, and the Hampton police hasn't found him. And so I feel that this is a situation where, not like a 5-year-old where they don't, at the onset they don't have that understanding, but this has been a decline based on his incarceration. And unfortunately, in this country, that's what jails are meant to do. They are mentally and physically dehumanizing, and it's, unfortunately, is what's going on with him.
So, just to clarify, this letter was written by Mr. Bigsby, sent to the courts?
No.
Sent to...
No, it wasn't sent to the, so, again, it was written while he was in the jail, so that's the first problem.
Okay.
And it was collected by one of the correction officers in the jail. That's the second problem.
So is this, oh, go ahead.
And so the concern is, why aren't we getting it until November 7th? We have concerns about that jail as well. I am very glad. I stayed in constant contact with Dr. Zwemer as soon as he was appointed. We wanted to get him out of that jail. The recommendation obviously was made to go to Eastern State because of his psychiatric situation, but for other reasons we wanted him out of that jail. And so we're grateful at this point that that is going to happen. But there's a lot of concern about how they obtained that without his attorneys being, there's so much wrong with that. So there's a number of, but yes, while he was in jail and not sent to the
Did the letter
court.
address Cody's disappearance?
I am not going to address the substance of the letter. Again, I'm trying to get it sealed because at some point at the June 14th hearing, in order to argue that the Commonwealth should have known that we were going to change our course of action once we got the letter, the judge has to see the letter, so which means it has to be deposited as a court record. But because I'm going to try to get it sealed, I'm not going to discuss the contents. I just suffice it to say it was concerning enough for us to ask for an evaluation, and we are here. My concern is, why are we waiting, and why did he wait until the end of October to give us the letter?
Is that the letter that caused the FBI and the police to search for Cody's body up in Maryland?
I cannot say whether that is or not.
Because it was right after that happened.
Yeah, I can't talk about the content. So that's where we are. The family did want to kind of express their concerns. They've been going through this. And if you have any questions for them, or if they wanted to, or if you have any other questions for me.
Well, just last from the letters. So he wrote it, it was collected, and then Bell got it
Yes.
instead of you guys.
Well, yeah, I mean, when the jail collects it, well, you see, that's a whole
You
other
say-
issue, I didn't even think about that, but yes, Bell got it, and he had an obligation, well, the Commonwealth has an obligation to turn discovery over as soon as practical. So you don't wait until the eve of the jury trial, but, so the correction officers would have contacted, Anton Bell.
When you say letter, you're talking more like a statement that he wrote out. Well,
Yes,
is that-
yes.
okay.
The statement.
Was it a suicide note or a confession?
It was neither. Did you all want to talk about everything that's happened from, I guess, the last time we spoke with me and what your concerns are?
No, I think you've basically addressed my concerns. If you all have any questions, I will answer them the best I can, but my concerns have been addressed.
What is everyone's relationship to Cory?
I'm his sister,
And your name is?
Tandalia.
Have you been able to talk to your brother at all?
I have not talked to my brother or seen him, other than in court appearances. I have not talked to him or seen him since last July.
Did you get a chance to read the letter? Have you guys read it?
No.
The family?
Have y'all given anyone outside the family members permission to collect money, GoFundMes,
No.
benches, anything like that?
No, and I have reported it.
How could it affect the family when people is collecting money in baby Cody's name, and we don't know where he is at his present moment?
I was disgusted.
And they did contact me, so we're trying to see what kind of legal action we can take on that front. So we're aware of that.
If it was something auntie or uncle, sister, y'all could say to the public about respecting the family privacy, far as collecting money and things like that, or making benches, what would y'all say, memorials and things like that?
One, I'm gonna continue to believe that my nephew is alive. I'm gonna continue to believe that one day he'll be returned home. And when it comes to things like that, I personally feel like those are things you do for people who are deceased, and I'm not on board with it, not one bit.
So the tribute site, you guys are not interested in developing a tribute site for Cody?
No, I'm not,
No.
because I believe that my nephew is alive, and one day he'll be returned.
We are the same mind.
And we believe that as well, so we're not
Yeah.
gonna treat him like he's not
We're
here.
not
Yes,
do
I'm
any
not gonna-
memorial services, and we don't agree with anybody collecting funds in the
Right.
name of Cory, the GoFundMe or whatever funds they're collected in the name of Cody, because where's the money going to?
Have anybody, with all the money that have been collected during the search for baby Cody, investigations and things like that, have they turned in over any of that money that's already been collected?
Not
I
that I'm
haven't seen
aware
them
of.
get it.
Not that I'm aware of.
Right.
Even the last time they did it, she had got $980-something. Who did it go to?
Right.
And then, on top of that, we never asked them to collect no money. We never asked them to do a plat. We never asked them to do all the stuff they doing. I mean, they say they for baby Cody, but I said this before and I say it again. How can you be so concerned about a child that's missing, but you're not concerned about his father that's been locked up for a whole year? A whole year. Because they believe he done something to his son. But there's no proof he done anything to his son. But you love Cody so much that you talk about the family, how the family really not concerned about Cody, they don't love Cody. But you love Cody so much that now you're gonna collect money for a plot for Cody, but you're not concerned about the family, the way we feel, the family don't care, the family don't love him. How do you know that? You don't know the family. Are you doing it just to be heard, just to be seen? So I got a big issue with someone saying we love baby Cody, we for Cody, but yet you don't love his family. You don't even know his family. You're not doing nothing for his family. You're not saying nothing positive about his father. You just going by that he was missing. So because he was missing, you believe his father's a murderer, his father's a killer, he killed his son, but there's no proof that he did anything to his son. So I don't agree with none of it. Now it's almost a year later. Cory's still locked up. We still going through the same thing that we've been going through since day one. And every time we go to court, it's always going towards the prosecutor, what he asking for, what he wants. At one time we went to court and we don't want to be biased, so we don't want to select the person that we want to evaluate him, but yet he's selected by someone in the courts, and that's not biased. I don't want to use who y'all want, but I'm going to choose somebody that they come to find out the person you choose was the person because you know. But you say we ain't going to be biased? What was that? And now that he was recommended to go to a facility, and now the prosecutor said, well, we don't really want him to go there. But it's the doctor you appointed.
How do you feel about that? That he's leaving jail, I guess, sometime soon, next day or so, maybe today. I don't know how it
Within 10
works.
days.
You know,
Within
Supposed to be
10?
within 10
you know why I feel
How do you
about
feel
it?
about that?
I feel great about it. And I'm going to tell you why. When you're in a prison, I said it before and I don't mind saying it again. I'm an ex-offender. I know how the prison system works. Now he in the prison, he get money in his canteen, but when he go to get something, he ain't got no money. Don't nobody know where the money is. The money goes to the jail. It goes into the canteen where he can buy stuff, but when he go to get money, they say he don't have none. What happened to it? Don't nobody know. When he's getting sent letters, he never receiving none of the letters.
I was gonna ask you about that. What happens? The letters just come back to you?
They
What do
come
what
back.
do
They come
say?
back.
Well,
What do they say on them?
so they say contents inappropriate. Now, one was open and came back and said contents inappropriate. But I'm trying to figure out what was inappropriate, the handwriting. I mean, even if I put a scripture in the letter, that's his belief. So you're taking away his ability to have his belief. And then the other letters from family members, we all got them back, and we're
What
holding
did they
on
say
to
on
them.
those, the other ones?
Same thing, contents inappropriate.
Were they open?
No, only one letter was open, and the rest of them were not.
So why was it inappropriate? You didn't go in the letter to look at it.
You don't have those with you, do you?
No, I didn't think to bring them, but if you call me, I'll make
Okay.
sure we can rendezvous and you can get
Okay,
them.
okay.
Maybe it was the wrong color envelope.
And we have serious concerns about Hampton Roads Regional Jail. I can tell you, I had talked to the family about it. One of the concerns, obviously, is if you are complaining about a facility that has complete control over your client, then you can't complain too loud because we still want him to come out alive, right? So the concerns that they're expressing, obviously he's going to be going back to Eastern State, but he's going to have to go back to that jail unless we have a hearing in between asking that he not go back to that jail. But we've had very serious concerns about the jail. His money missing, sending letters back without reviewing them, getting a statement from,
Oh.
you know, so just a number of things.
Oh, so no visits.
Things that he, right, and things that he has
No
complained about
contact.
regarding what the correctional officers are doing to him.
What do you mean by no visit, no contact?
No one's able to go visit him.
Who
Except the
created that
attorneys.
rule? The jail?
The jail.
Evidently
I mean,
they
Yeah,
did.
well, they
Because
said because
COVID is
we're in the
gone.
COVID climate, but as Glenn said before, he and I are ordained reverends, and that trumps any regulation. We're in and out of jails and hospitals all the time, you know, during COVID.
Yeah. Plus they're doing visits now.
Exactly.
Yeah, but we have not been able to visit Cory. We have not been able to make phone calls. In fact, I'm gonna put this out here. In July, family was invited down to have a conference room lunch with Cory. And they said because we're concerned about his mental health, our job is to make sure he's better in this facility. Family went down. prison bought lunch and everything. And so the report we got was, if this turns out to be a positive visit, we'll think about something similar in the future. Well, the future never came. We asked for another visit. Can we come down and see him? Oh, the answer was, oh no, you can figure out a video visit. Well, in order for us to do a video visit, we have to put money on his account. Well, we can put the money on his account. We put money on his account. He never sees the money. So we can't even do a video visit.
And it should be noted, she said July of, that was July of 2022. Immediately after almost that statement came. So we have our concerns about what kind of, why all that happened around the same time, and very concerned about the timing of that and how unusual that is.
Do
So-
you think Cory Bigsby is actually on trial for child neglect, child abuse, or do you think they're secretly kind of like holding on trial for baby Cody being missing?
Well, I have said.
I feel that way.
Right, and I've said numerous
feel
times,
that way.
he's been denied bond because of the false allegations that the Commonwealth Attorney made in the beginning about we're getting ready to bring a murder trial. And I know defense attorneys don't normally do this, but I mean a murder charge, and I know defense attorneys don't normally do this, but where's the murder charge? And so, and I'll let Tandalia speak to that too as well.
Let me just say this. I think he's on trial for them both. And I think it troubles me every day. Every day, Cody and Cory is on my mind. I live, eat, sleep with them. They're on my mind. And almost once a week, our phones ping for Amber Alert, whether it's an Amber Alert or a Silver Alert. Commonwealth never did an Amber Alert for Cody.
And that still troubles me.
It troubles me too.
Right to this day.
And it should trouble
Never did an Amber Alert. He could be sold. I believe my nephew is a victim of
Sexual predator.
exactly. They never even investigated the folks in the community, the maintenance people that had access to the house. Next door neighbor.
And he was on the sex offender list.
Let's
And
speak about
A
that.
month or two left later, he left.
He had moved or something.
He
Let's speak
moved.
about that. The maintenance man
The maintenance man.
that was at just about every search,
Yes,
and
he
every
was.
time an item came up, the maintenance man was there.
Inserted himself.
He inserted himself. He was the one with all the information. He was the one always trying to point and blame baby Cody. And then he had a charge himself that nobody investigated. I think allegedly child abuse or something like that.
Yep.
And then he all of a sudden disappeared
Disappeared.
and moved out the community. Why didn't Hampton, Virginia police investigate the maintenance man?
We would love for you to go ask them that. Like, so
I want to
serious.
know that.
I'm gonna tell you what I believe. When Cory went and reported his son was missing, immediately they believed he killed his son. And I'm gonna tell you why. Even the neighborhood right behind where Cory and them lived at, it was sex offenders in that neighborhood. They
Right.
never went over there to search. They did. He could have been in one of their houses. They never searched. They took him. We went there. They tore all the floors up under the toilet, all the floors up under the zinc. Everywhere there was a place where there was water or a drain, they pulled all the floors up. Why? Looking for blood. So immediately they thought, well, he killed his son, and he did something with him. So they wasn't looking for nobody else, because I believe in their hearts, he killed his son. And we gonna get him to confess what he did. So they questioned him for all them hours. They gave him a lie detector test. He passed the test. He was told he passed it. He failed it because he was nervous. How you gonna fail a test? Who ain't gonna be nervous taking a lie detector test? They never gave him a lawyer. So I believe they believe that he killed his son, and we gonna get him to confess. And so you go from 7 charges to 36 charges based on what?
And they held him and drove my nephew crazy.
That's
Yeah.
essentially what happened.
Yeah, and so, and what really gets me, this is America. It's 2022. This is 2023. This is a guy who spent all his time in the military. He served his country for over 20-something years. And the sheriff even said that, you know, he felt that he was a nice young man. He did his duty for America, but yet you lock him up. You holding him all this time, and you said it's because he said he left his son at home one day. And this is what it boils down to, almost 117 years when you add all the charges up and the time that he could get behind it for a statement.
On the day that they denied Cory Bigsby, his attorney, I so happened to be there. I so happened to capture that very moment. Tangibly, it was my first day I met you, and the lawyer kept trying to get in there and he refused to. Do you think Hampton, Virginia Police Department dropped the ball so bad, lied at the press conference that they did not deny Cory Bigsby his rightful attorney? Do you think they lied so bad and messed the case up so bad they refused to say, sorry, we're wrong, because they know they could be up for a lawsuit or anything?
Of course.
Yeah, they're in too deep.
Of course.
So
they're trying to cover their steps of everything that they messed up.
And I just want to clarify the drop the ball. I don't think they dropped the ball. My position is that this is what they do. They deny people their right to counsel. They didn't expect the media to pick up this story. I've been practicing for 23 years. And this is, unfortunately, when he said this is America, I have a different concept of this is America. But I believe what happened is they did what they normally do. They denied him a right to an attorney, but when they saw that the media was picking up this story, they were like, okay, what do we do now? We can't let him go because we've had him in here for so long. Give him these, 7 charges initially, and then let him go, and then we'll add this. So he is being tried, so it's not a drop the ball situation. I think they do this often and intentionally, and it's purposeful. They just did not expect it to be a media case.
Have anyone told anybody why baby Cody still to this day do not fall on an Amber Alert?
We haven't heard why.
But what he said is what it is. They felt like Cory killed him, so
Cody-
why would you do an Amber Alert?
They felt he killed his son, because anytime you go in a house and you tear up the floor under everywhere that there's a water pipe or water drain, you're looking for blood.
They also took the drains.
Yeah, they took all the plumbing out. They dug up all the wood floors because they looking for blood. That's what they looking for. And it was, and I want to say this too. It was a lady who, her 2 children was missing here, and she said they was missing. And I forgot what's her. Y'all remember her name?
No, I don't remember her name. It was
It
one.
was one lady.
It was
one lady.
It was
and then
her son, I think.
they found out that she killed her children.
Her son.
Her
It
son.
was just
They
one.
found out he killed her. And so then in court, when we were trying to get a bond, the DA said, well, y'all remember when Miss So-and-so said her son was missing, and we found out we killed her, so do you want to give Cory a bond and this thing happened to us again? So the bond was denied.
Yes.
You denied a
He
bond
did
on a
reference
man that
that
spent
case.
20-something years in the military, never had a jaywalking ticket or anything.
Baby
Because,
boy.
Right.
because someone killed their son and lied and said the son was missing, which was a Caucasian woman. So now you got a black man say his son is missing. So because she said that about her son, and so now we're not gonna let him go because what if he killed his son? And that's why that was one reason he was denied bond. That don't make no sense. And he's still there and still can't get bond. Why? What is the purpose of not giving him bond? He's not an escape risk.
Someone just made a comment, and this is what y'all have to deal with as the family members, because you're staying with your family and you stay with baby Cody. Someone said all of y'all guilty. How did that affect y'all when y'all only fighting for the rights of y'all family member?
I have learned to ignore ignorant people. They gonna place blame because they don't know either. People gonna assume that's what they do. That's what I expect. And at this point, it doesn't even arouse me.
You
Not
said
at all.
all is guilty how, what do you mean?
No, this what they,
Somebody, she's
what I'm
on
saying, I'm
fake
trying,
Facebook.
they said on Facebook, and what I'm trying to do is get y'all to respond to how those type of, comments is rude.
So somebody on Facebook said all of us guilty of what?
Exactly.
Cody being missing,
I would say this.
Cody being missing, Cody being locked up, basically what she just said.
What they
When-
said, I'm
when-
just
when
saying,
people-
I
when-
wanted you to
when-
respond to those negative
When
comments.
people make them statements, you know, sometimes there's some things you don't even address.
The sad part is,
You know, so-
I would
so you
hate
don't-
for
yeah.
it to be their family,
Right.
and they don't stand with theirs, because it would show the type of people and family that they come from.
You know, some people, sometimes it's just ignorance, and some ignorance things you don't get involved in.
address it.
You don't address it, so that's
And you
how I
gotta
feel
be
about it.
careful about the hate you give.
Right.
Because the seeds you plant, you will reap. You might not reap them, but that thing has a generational effect.
Can I ask you this last question, if y'all don't?
Yeah,
go ahead.
do you guys have any status update on the search for little Cody?
As far as I know, there hasn't
not
been a
They're just,
search.
you are under
They
the belief
hasn't-
that they're done searching.
They've
They've
been done.
been done.
They were done when
They've
they
been
charged
done.
Cory, I think.
They charged Cory, and a couple of them came out for, Nick and them
5
came out for
days.
a little while, they looked in the area, and they ain't find nothing. And then one lady, while we was moving his stuff, now this is really sad. While we was moving his stuff, this lady came outside, she watched us. She went over by the trash can, she seen a coat. She wouldn't call the police. She wouldn't call the police. Trying to say that was, we was throwing his clothes away that we got out the house.
Mhm.
Now that's sad. And then you had a 6-year-old, now a 9-year-old, a 6-year-old, and about a 4-year-old. I was on the truck. They did this on purpose. Somebody sent them out the house to do this. The little 9-year-old girl still came over there. She but close enough to the truck where I can hear her. She looked on the truck. The little boys were saying, "We want to say, come on, y'all, come on." And she said, "Lord, would you make Cody tell us what Cody is? Because he's missing and we know he did something with him, Lord. So we just want you to have him to tell the truth."
That was
what
a 9-year-old.
That was a 9-year-old. This is what she's saying. And then she looked at me, and then the little boy say, "Okay, we did it, let's go." And then they ran. Now who would send a child outside to do something like that?
Not only that, I have
But you
gotten,
are concerned about Cody
to
and
the,
about Cory, but now hold on, nigga. But now you send kids out to basically terrorize his family because their boy is missing. And a 9-year-old girl ain't gonna think of to do nothing like that. To come right by me where I could hear it and look at me and then start saying it. Then the little boy said, "Okay, we finished, let's go." And they ran away. So it just all of this just.
Amina, during the
That makes
bond
sense.
hearing, if I can recall, Mr. Bell mentioned to the judge, don't quote me on this, I think this is what he said, "Sir, it was enough evidence found so that they wouldn't release him at one time in the house." Is that correct? That they did find enough evidence, and that's why he didn't want him on bond? Is that correct? If I can recall?
No, but I have not had the opportunity to do a bond hearing with Attorney Bell. So I wasn't at the bond hearing that he did. That was with the previous
Okay,
lawyer.
I'm not sure if he said, I know Sutton was said that kinda like tainted him getting out, like making it like he was guilty.
Well, he did. He did say that, we think, he didn't say it like this, but he insinuated that he killed Cody, so that's why he can't get out.
Right.
So that is, he was definitely judged based on no evidence and kept in jail because of that. There's something that Glenn had said, what he's describing in terms of what the community did, and there were some other hagglers when they were trying to pack and move Cory's stuff. That is a direct result of what Chief Talbot said when he said, if the people that care about Cody come forward, then we can find him. So he started this instigation from the neighborhood, and so that was, irresponsible, extremely irresponsible. This whole ordeal has been irresponsible.
Are you guys also vouching for the fence, kind of the tribute fence to come down?
that fence was there in the beginning, and I don't have a problem with that fence. My problem is anybody collecting funds in his name.
Okay.
And the fence was there while they were still looking
Mhm.
for Cody. So the idea of the fence was, he's still alive, we are still looking for him. This is a reminder that we're still looking for him. But then when you start doing memorials and tributes and benches, you know, he's not, my belief is that he is not dead.
Mine too. I think, first of all, the reward money is still available. It's still out there. I just believe in my heart of hearts that Cody is a victim of child trafficking. Wherever he is, he could be right next door. How many of us watch those movies and somebody's held captive right next door or around the corner, you know, and we're looking all over the place, but he's right up under our nose. I believe in my heart, I know Cody is alive, but I believe he's trafficked somewhere, where I don't know. And I mean, the whole part of it breaks my heart, but the hardest part is to think the sex piece. That just rips my heart apart.
Auntie, if you had something to say to New Hampton, Virginia, about not having a missing child alert out, what would you say to them?
Shame on you. Shame on you. You know, it's a child. It doesn't matter the color of the child's skin, but it's a kid missing. And you should have done everything within your power to make sure that that child was found and that the public was alerted.
And this is what I would love all of you all here to do, and the people in the community to do. Hold the police accountable for finding Cody. If they spend as much energy, and I'm talking to the people in the community, if they spend as much energy holding the police to account that they do insulting the family, then maybe we can get a leg up on where Cody is, and hold the officers to account. Why aren't they still looking for Cody? If they feel like Cory killed him, where's the body? Find him. Either way it goes, find him. But they just stopped. So it's just it's disheartening. I obviously believe I've seen enough of these cases that it's unfortunate that black babies are not as sought after when they're missing as white children, and that's just the way it is. It's more disturbing in this case because they've indicated that his dad killed him. They have absolutely no evidence. It's absolutely not true, and they have essentially tortured his dad and brought him to first he loses his child, and now he's lost his mind, is essentially where we are.
And I want to go back to a real early statement that the police made during the onset of during the onset of the investigation, when they was trying to make the case that Cory killed Cody. Was like no 4-year-old would let themselves out of the house. And so what that make me know is that they never seen Cody. Cody is big-boned. I have a 2-year-old that gets out of the house or tries to get out of the house if we don't lock him in. So Cody is a big-boned kid. He's 5 now, but he's big-boned. He's not your average little kid. All of those kids, he and his siblings, are big kids. They're not little, they're not petite, they're big-boned kids. So you would look at him as a 5-year-old and think he's maybe 6 or 7. They're big-boned kids. And even if he wasn't, kids these days, they're smart kids. They're using cell phones. What make you think a dog would keep them inside?
Chanel, I would like to ask you the same question. If you could speak directly to Hampton, Virginia, by not issuing a missing child alert for your nephew, what would you say to him?
That they're part of the blame that he hasn't been found.
And Uncle, may I ask you the same question?
What's the question again?
if you could speak to Newport News or the state of Virginia, because it's a state issue as well, why haven't they issued an Amber Alert for baby Cody? What would you say to them?
Well, I would say, is what I believe, they didn't issue it, number one, because he was a black boy, he had a black father, and they believe that he killed his son. So why do we put out an Amber Alert to look for someone when we know this young man has killed him? And what I would say with them, close their eyes and picture is a white family, it's a white boy, it's a white father. What would you have done?
I mean, so let's say the restoration tour, we come back for the check on the 14th. Could he go back? Is this an ongoing process? What would happen if they say he's not ready for trial?
Okay.
And I know we also have the motion to dismiss, which is a whole nother thing that same day.
Yes. So the way the Virginia code reads, when we come back, if right now he's declared incompetent, the hospital will be able to determine whether he is what's considered unrestorably incompetent. So or they can say he is restorably incompetent. So there's really three things: either he's going to be competent, unrestorably incompetent, or restorably incompetent. If they say he's competent, then obviously we set the case for trial. If they say he's unrestorably incompetent, unfortunately, under Virginia law, technically they can send him back to the hospital for another 6 months to see if he becomes restorably incompetent. After that 6-month period, we would have a hearing, probably bringing people from Eastern State. If he remains unrestorably incompetent, the charges are dismissed. If he is restorably incompetent, we send him for 6 months, and they say we can still restore him. There's really no deadline, but at 12 months, if they send him back like another 6 months, at 12 months, they have to have other doctors come in to see if maybe he reverts back to unrestorably incompetent. I know I've said a lot, but so a lot of different things can happen. A lot of the cases that I've had, if someone comes back from Eastern State and they say he's unrestorably incompetent, the charges are dismissed. By the Commonwealth, by the way. This case is a lot different, as I've detailed in my motion and throughout this hearing, so they will probably, the judge has the option of sending him back. So this may take a lot longer than normal cases, but we will fight it every step of the way. If they want to send him back, we'll be asking for dismissal. You know, unfortunately, too, there are some things that we can appeal to the Court of Appeals. There's some things that we can't. We have to just wait till they run their course. So that sending him back to the hospital are one of the things that we may be able to appeal. So we'll see how that goes.
Are y'all still planning on trying to get Cory Bigsby case taken out of Hampton, Virginia, so he can get a fair trial?
We have not. When I say we, me and the other attorneys, we had discussed that, and initially the plan was to keep it here. I think by having interviews like this, the community is able to see his family, see what the Commonwealth Attorney is doing, see what the police have done, and I think initially when the Chief of Police and the Commonwealth Attorney came out and said, you know, he murdered his child, essentially, we've been able to combat that, and they have combated that assertion by not bringing murder charges. So I think the community, even though there are still some, has kind of turned around a little bit, so we don't have that much of a problem, you know, based on the initial report given by the Chief of Police.
Where are the other kids right now?
I'm sorry?
Where are the other kids, the other?
In DC.
With their mother? or-
Yes.
Is she still not commenting on anything?
Still not.
You
How
know,
old are they now? His brothers?
6 and 3.
And even with that, we was told that they was given to
The
child
twins are
protective
3.
custody, and come to find out, they sent the kids out the back and gave them to the mother. But we was told that they was in child custody, because we was trying to get custody of them and was told that that's where they were, and then we found out that the whole time they had let the kids out the back and gave them to the mother took them to Selfies, which he took all his kids because he wanted to take care of his kids and raise his kids the way they should have been raised.
So that's all another.
And I'm gonna
That's a
ask you this
whole
question, I'm gonna ask you this question.
Me?
Yeah, I wanna ask you this, in front of me. Now, the first charge Cory got when he reported his son missing, what was the full term of that charge, or what could they have given him for the first charge that he got?
Oh, the child neglect.
Yeah.
So that was when I was doing, so yeah, the first, I had done the sentencing guidelines for him, and I think at the bond hearing, I feel like it was 6 to 12 months for the sentencing guidelines. And that's basically how much time any person in that position would have gotten, 6 to 12 months. I have not done the sentencing guidelines adding on the new charges. But the max for each charge was still 5 years. But,
I
yeah.
just wanted to add that because of what he would have gotten for what they first charged him with to where he at now.
Yeah, they're just, they're reaching.
That's why I put there, so for that, with the first charge to where he's at now, 36 charges, facing almost 117 years for a charge that carried a max maybe of 5 years or 6 to 12 months. But look what it turned out to. It turned out to a young man mentally disturbed. It's turned out to a young man whose son is missing, don't know where he is. A young man who's been accused of killing his son. Not only that, can you imagine if you was in prison for killing your son and your son is missing, you don't know where he is? Imagine if that was your daughter and they lock you up and say you killed your daughter. And y'all know y'all didn't do anything to your daughter, and your daughter is still missing. You grieving for your daughter being missing, and now you locked up for killing her when you don't even know where she at. The whole scenario to it is just sad.
That was a good question.
I mean, I just have one last question. I know I would have to go. I guess just for the record, like your motion to dismiss, your main goal is, what is your main outcome that you're hoping for here?
So, obviously, with the motion to dismiss, my main goal would be to have the charges dismissed.
All of them?
All of them.
Okay.
And that's based on, the deception from the chief of police from the beginning of the case, and now the apparent deception based on what I've detailed in the motion from the Commonwealth attorney. At some point, you have to look at this and say this is not fair, and so the charges should be dismissed. But I plan on having a full hearing on it. Hopefully I don't have to go to the Court of Appeals, but I will be putting everything on the record, including, like I said, that letter has to at some point be in the record. But I will be putting all of that on the record in case we need to go to the Court of Appeals or the Supreme Court.